All right, Lane, I figured I would do a video to kind of give you a walkthrough of Jungo and just to give you a step-by-step guide around, setting up an email marketing campaign with automatic workflow. So it's going to be a long video, but I just figured I'd record my work here and then we could use this as a training video and go back and check things out. So here, when I log into Jungo, you see the home screen, which you can do a lot from here. I have it set to Jungo's real estate app here, which is just one of the settings which gives you all of these additional buttons, which I'll go through here. And then to get to the marketing campaigns, you click on, Greg Maffei here, and then you click on Setup, and then you kind of go through here. So the first area to set up all your marketing messages are under the Communications tab, and then under email templates. And this is where you would also do mass emails. And here you can see these are the ones that you approved. We have, 11 messages in here, all set up, ready to go. If you're to do mail merge templates, you can set them up here, letterhead. So this is where you kind of build all of the marketing campaigns. And then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and set up workflow for any new contacts that are brand new to Greg that we are going to be putting here in the system. So again, you go over here to Setup, and then you click on the Create tab, and then you go over to Workflows, and then you go over to Workflow Rules. And I've set up one here, which I call GT LinkedIn Auto Follow-Up. And here you can see I've set a couple of these up already, and I'll just kind of walk you through the process. So after you get all the emails built in the area that I showed you, it's pretty easy to go through and create what are called workflows and triggers, which help you do all of the automation. And so I'm going to walk you through on how to set up a couple of these. Then I'll go through the process of adding a new contact to the database, selecting the marketing campaign, making sure that they're in the workflow, and then how you can follow up with them later on. So it's actually really, really cool. It's taken me a long time to learn this system, but after you get it set up, it is pretty slick. So here you can see workflow actions. I'm going to click on the edit button, and I have PowerPoint slides and screen graphs here, which kind of walk you through each one of these particular areas. But after you do a couple of them, they get really, really easy. So the way I have it set up right now is for immediate workflow actions. As soon as somebody is added to the database and added to this marketing automation funnel, or let's just call it a marketing campaign, you can see here that immediately, they're going to get an email alert, which is message number 1. So if I click on edit this, so right here is message number 1, and then I opened up another tab here so you can see all of our messages right here. So that's the message 1 introduction, the welcome message, and here you can see if I go down, I can see that, here's the description, it's going to be going to that person's email address, and then save. So that's as soon as somebody is added to the database, within 1 hour, they get that first message. Then after 5 days from the trigger date is when they were added to the database and added to the marketing campaign. 5 days later, they get message 2, which is 10 best kept secrets for selling your home. Then 15 days later from the initial day that they were added to the database, which would be 10 days after this, so 15 days after the trigger date, they get message number 3, tips for buying a home. Then 30 days after the trigger date, which is another 15 days from the previous email, they get message number 4, which is the top 5 website real estate apps. Then another 15 days from the previous email, which is 45 days out from the trigger date. When we added them to this campaign, they get this email, which is message 5, Manhattan Beach real estate prices go wild. And so now I'll just pick up from where I left off, and we'll do at least 3 or 4, or maybe even finish in this video these next 5 to 10 messages in the workflow. So then if I go here, just to finish up where we left off, so this one has a message, an email going out to the recipient 45 days later, and here's the message. Now what we also want to do is set up the tracking so we can see in that person's contact field that they have received the message. So I'm going to assign this to Greg, give it a subject, and the subject here is the Manhattan Beach. So it's this email campaign. So I just copy this and I just add this one in here. It gives it the name. And then the due date, I just want to set up a rule trigger date plus 0 days. So as soon as that last email goes out, we want to set up a trigger date on this person's contact field. So I want to mark it as status. So we're setting up a task in this person's contact field, and then priority is normal. And then I just click on save. So here you can see as I scroll down here, the message will go out and then the task will be created in that person's file that they got this email, time, date, stamped. Therefore, when we can always do a search on the database to see who's opened this email, who's gotten this email, all kinds of triggers. We can even open up their file and see if they've clicked on anything. And then eventually we'll get to the point where we'll add triggers where say if they click on, a certain aspect within that email, we could have a trigger set up to, hey, create a task to call this person. And I can show you how that could go, how that will work. Actually, I'll do that right now. So we want to say, hey, if this person gets this email 45 days after added to our database and they click on something in the email, let's create a task for myself. Let's just call it follow-up call. When I say myself, I mean, Greg. So message 5, I'm going to say follow-up. So follow-up call for, message 5, 45 days later. So the due date would be upon the trigger plus 0 days. And I'm going to say it is going to be not started. So not started, then we can say follow-up call. And then this will put it onto our daily planner of action items that have not yet started. Now there's one more additional trigger that we would need to set up, and that is when they actually click on a link to do this. But in the meantime, let's just say 45 days later, we've warmed them up so far with 4 emails. Let's give them a call. So here you can see the task has been created. So let's go through and add the next one, which would be message number 6. So if I click here, the previous one was 45 days. So let's add another 15 to that. So let's say 60 days out. So 60 days out from when we add them to the database. Click on save here. And now we want to create a workflow action for this. So we want to send them an email. And the email that we want to send them is message number 6 here. We go back here. We just copy that right into the description. And the email template that we want is message number 6. 10 things your real estate broker would teach you. Then what we want to do is select an email field here. And this one top here is just the primary email field. We can add that. And then we save it. And if we go here, 60 days later from when we initially added them to the database, they're going to get this particular email. Now, what we also want to do is set up a task that will appear in their file, letting us know that they have received this email. So we want to assign it to Greg. Let's just give it the same name as the email, message 6. due date upon the trigger date, so 0 days, and then let's mark it as completed. Normal priority status. Now we're done. So 45, so 60, so let's go 75 days out. We'll add another trigger. So 75 days from when they were added to the database, we will go ahead and add a workflow because we created the trigger. We want to send them an email 75 days later, and then the next one is going to be message 7. And so we add message 7 right in here. That'll populate. Message 7, we select it. We select email field. Add this over here. Save this. And then we want to just create a new task. The task again is going to be the update on their client record that they have received this email. Because if we don't put the task in here, it won't show up on their record field, and then we won't be able to sort upon it, and then we won't be able to click on it. So very, very important step here as we're doing workflow. So assign to, we want to assign this to, let me go back because I think I made a mistake there. So we want to create a new task, assign to Greg. So he's going to be updating the task on this. The subject is this particular email. The due date is 0 days from the trigger, and then we just want to mark it as completed. So that way, again, it will show up on that person's record. So we did 15 days. Maybe we'll just stick to this 15-day cycle. Maybe we'll mix it up. Let's just do 10 days now. So we'll do 85 days out. So we're going to add a new trigger. So 85 days out. So it'll be 10 days from the previous email. We're going to add an email alert. And the next one that we're going to send is message 8. And so in the description, we're going to send them message 8. What is it? It's message 8, the must-dos before buying a home. We're going to send an email. Click that over here, and then save. So now this message is going to be sent to anybody we add to the database 85 days later. And we want to create a task. Assign it to Greg. And again, here's what these whole tasks is really where you can set up some neat triggers and some neat automation around if a person does this with an email, if they forward it on, if they click on anything, let's set up a call, which a call could appear on the planner, or we can even set them up into another marketing funnel, another series of emails. So it's pretty cool. Just going to paste that one in there. Due date, rule trigger, got to put 0 in here, and put completed, and click on normal, and click on save. All right, now let's do another trigger for 100 days out. So set it up for 100 days from when they have been added to the database. We're going to send them an email. Now we're on message 9. And we add message 9 here. What do we want to do? Let's see, message 9. We want to send them an email to the primary email address, then click on save. Add the task. Let's mark it as completed, so that appears on the record, or the contact record. And let's say that we want to check in to these people that have, after 100 days within this trigger. Let's say we want to set up another, or actually we'll do another one. See how this one here, oh no, actually we'll do it for this one. What we're going to do here is we're going to set up a new task saying, hey, let's take a look at this person and see how well they're doing in the funnel. So here we're going to assign a task to Greg based upon this trigger action. The subject line is going to be 100-day follow-up. Why was there an X there? So 100-day follow-up message, unique name. We're going to create it upon this particular trigger. So after this person gets this email 100 days into the campaign, we're going to create a not started status, a task on Greg Maffei's planner, which says, hey, follow up, or at least check this person out to see if they are worthy of follow-up. And of course we get an error message. Your unique field can only contain underscores. So let me see if this works here. That should work. So then if I save it, we just created another task. 100 days. Now, I'm not saying we have to call that person, but at least we'll get triggered, or an action will be put on our daily planner to take a look at this person because we've been marketing to them for over 100 days. So that was message 9. Let's go to the last one, this trigger here, and let's call it 115 days. Let's do 120 days. 120 days after the trigger has been set. We'll go down here and we'll create the new email alert. And the last one is going to be Life in the South Bay, message 10. So here we have message 10. Select the message. Let's see, goes to email. We add the email address here. We click on save. Then we'll add a trigger, which again, the trigger is not a trigger. We'll add a task, which then updates the record that they have received this message. And we're going to mark it as completed. Again, we can do a lot from here, but I'm going to save this. And then just to reiterate here, what we've done is we've set up the marketing messages, then we've gone over and created the workflow, and then we have edit, rule, GT, LinkedIn, automatic follow-up. And here you can see as soon as we add somebody to the database, they will receive this first welcome message. Then 5 days later, they will receive the second message. And then 15 days later, they'll receive the third message. 30 days later, they'll get the fourth message. 45 days later, they're going to get the fifth, and then so on and so forth, all the way up into 120 days, which they'll get a series of 10 messages, all automated. And so that has all been set up, and thoroughly tested. Now I wanted to go over contacts to see how we can currently add people to this particular field and how we can kind of sort through it. So just at a high level, if I just click on all contacts and I click on go here, you can see that there are 335 contacts right down here. And you can see the list of contacts. You can sort by group. What's kind of neat is if you can move these fields over just like this, manage this. But I'll just give you a quick little overview. If we want to look at all the contacts that are within Manhattan Beach, all we have to do is, one, if it's not created, you can easily go in here and create it. So say if we just want, Hermosa Beach, because Hermosa Beach hasn't been created yet. And the reason why I'm showing you these filters is because this is how we would go about and see who's opened up the emails, who's received it, who's in the campaign, what's the status of the campaign. So here we want to filter by mailing address. No, we want to filter by city. So mailing city is the field that we want. We want it to equal Hermosa Beach. And then we just, campaign name. This is optional, but we'll just call it Hermosa Beach. So the idea here is we're just creating a filter that, all of the people in Hermosa Beach, hey, if we have a new listing here, we could just send these people, information here related to, the Hermosa Beach list. Get the idea, visible to everyone. I guess that all works. Just click on save. And no match found. Oh, I think I need to click on this. Oh, they're not part of any, we don't want to put them into any campaign, so I'll just leave that here as optional. Let me click on save. And Hermosa Beach, you can see that there are 59 contacts from Hermosa Beach. And I saved this particular search. And again, you can search on any aspect of this. If we want to search on, the A's within Hermosa Beach, we can easily do that. Now, if we want to send all of these people the listing, we would create the email within email templates and then click on mass update and then simply click on this particular button, and then we would add any fields that we want and then just easily be able to email all of those 59 people there in Hermosa Beach. So pretty cool. And then if you just wanted to do Manhattan Beach, you can click on go. And then here you can see 127 people within Manhattan Beach. We have their email addresses. We can do mass updates. We can add those people to a particular campaign very easily just by clicking, boom, add them to the campaign. And then, if we wanted to easily select, so I'm going to go back to all contacts, you see here 335. Now, if we want to easily select people to a group, or, so say if basically we want to upload a bunch of people and then add them to that marketing automation funnel that we just set up with all those triggers, we could easily just go to, new people this week, and you can see that there aren't any new people here, but we could also sort by date, so we can really slice and dice all of our contacts to get some really, really good information. We could also, upload a list to the database here and, just call them, Ds. So then just sort by, group here. You can easily sort just by group, or you could say, hey, create a new filter. And then if, the group is a D, just add them all to a marketing campaign here. So there's a lot of different ways you can slice and dice this. If you want to see the people that are on the current campaign, I created a GT auto marketing campaign. So just at a glance, if you want to see all of the contacts that are currently in the process of going through that particular overall campaign, all the series of emails, you can just simply go down here and click on GT Auto Marketing, similar to Hermosa. So you can create any type of filters that you want, and you can get really, really granular with your filters. So you could say, okay, I only want the people who we've added to the database in the last 30 days who are also part of this particular campaign. And then you can just click on any one of these fields. You can see here's the campaign that they're part of, and then the client record, and then adding notes and all that sort of stuff. So really, really powerful in terms of the slicing and dicing of all the data that you can do within your particular contacts here. And I really like the way we have it set up here with A's, B's, C's, D's, and the list goes down here. So if you want to sort all your A's, let me just see if I can do this real quick. We want to create a new view, and let's just call it A's. And let's just call it A's. I don't know if they'll let me put that in there. No, so you can't do unique character. All my A's. No. Yeah, let's do all my A. No, let's just call it A. So then we want to do create a field. And I think it's called group. Group, right here, group equals, I'm going to put includes an A value. So I could just do equals, but I know sometimes he puts, Greg puts them in there as A plus. So let me just see. I'm going to sort, I think we need to give this a unique name, A. I'm going to call A contacts. A contacts. So that looks like it's working. So let me see. So say if we wanted to add all of our A contacts to a campaign, we could do this very easily. But here I'm just going to do a save here for the view. A unique field can only contain an underscore. All right, so maybe if I put in an underscore here, save this. Cool, so now I'm seeing 128 A contacts. So these should, if you look down this, it should be all just the A contacts. And then you can do the same for B, C's, and D's, and that way, like, all right, who's my B contacts, who's my C contacts. So you can really do some pretty awesome stuff related to this. And then maybe you have your C contacts or your B contacts that you want to set up a birthday campaign. So if you put their name in here, their birthday, you could say if they're an A and their birthday field is populated, then just send them a quick birthday message. And so that would be really easy to do. Again, the more information that you put in each one of these contacts, the more data you're going to be able to do, and the more automation you're going to be able to do. So it's really, really cool. Oh, excuse me. I think that's about it. I think I'm going to kind of wrap up from here, but at least this will be a good reminder video on where we can go in terms of setting this thing up, get it working, get it humming along. So it's pretty